Oh, welcome to Wrestling Chat with Friends, the Tuesday show. This is our WWE show. My name is EJ the Collector. It's great to have you here. Wrestling Chat with Friends is a proud member of the Family Podcast Network. Now, don't adjust your set. If I am the Bobby Eaton of this Tuesday show, my lover boy Dennis, TG, is not here. So I've made the call into Sweet Stan Lane, our producer, who's going to make an appearance tonight. Cheats.
I like it.
Great to have you. Good to see you. What's going on, my man?
Good to see you, brother. It's been a long time. We haven't had a show in a while. I'm excited. Road to WrestleMania is here, though, so I'm excited for it.
We are in WrestleMania week, finally. We have been off for a couple of weeks. We've all been busy doing our things, but we're here. We wouldn't miss this week for the world because it is WrestleMania week. Tonight, we're going to talk about the matches. 13 matches are on the card this weekend, 2 nights, as they've been doing for the last couple of years. So I'm sorry TG is going to miss it, but we're glad everyone who's listening is there. We're live on YouTube. You can catch our page, Wrestling Chat with Friends. We're live on our Facebook page, also Wrestling Chat with Friends. Join our group. Twitter at WCWF Pod is where you can find us. And we're in the point of getting a lot of our shows, our past shows, up on Spotify, Apple, wherever you get your podcasts. We've got some up there. We'll get more up there as we go along. So it's WrestleMania week. We can't talk about WrestleMania week, Cheats, without first talking about our friend Victor Taylor Perry and the Wrestling Club.
Are they going?
They are going.
How exciting!
Victor's taking 5 students, like the original 5 Wrestling Club students.
Well, that's awesome.
They did a GoFundMe over the last several months and got enough money for airplane, hotel. WWE's been in touch with them. They're going to get taken care of really nice.
Good for him.
Victor's going to all the events this week. He tweets a lot at Wallflower Perry. Victor is a teacher who has his wrestling club. He's really kind of a quasi-wrestling celebrity now.
He is. He's a good for him. He's done a great job with the middle school kids, and it's awesome to see. I'm glad he's going to WrestleMania.
He's done a great job. He's one of our good friends. We've had him on the shows before. We'll hope to have him again in the future to talk about his WrestleMania experience. But, if you want to kind of get a firsthand look at his experience through the eyes of these kids who he's bringing up and going out to Cali this weekend, follow him at Wallflower Perry. Victor's the man. We really like Victor. So let's also, before we get really into WrestleMania, is there things from Raw? Raw had their go-home show yesterday. I want to talk about that main event last night. I don't know how much you saw, but
yeah, I watched it.
The Bloodline is trying to kind of soften Cody up for this matchup this weekend, and the big battle was yesterday. Solo Sikoa, Cody Rhodes were the main event at Raw last night, and we saw something in that match we have not seen before since he made his main roster debut. Those two both came in undefeated. Only one of them is undefeated now. Cody got a clean pin off Solo Sikoa. Is that give him the motivation? Is going to help his chances, or do you think that's going to come back to haunt him down the road?
Who? Which one?
Cody.
No,
because you don't want an angry Solo Sikoa after you.
No, you're building up WrestleMania. What's the best way to build up WrestleMania? You've got to give hope to the Cody Rhodes contingent that he is capable of winning at WrestleMania, at the main event on Sunday against Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns has been invincible for like 2 years now. This is a legitimate challenge. This is a legitimate threat to the entire bloodline this whole WrestleMania weekend. It's sort of starting to feel like the pieces may be come tumbling down for all kinds of ways, in and out, in the ring, in the storyline, and outside. And so, you had to do that. I expected nothing less than Cody Rhodes going over Solo. And it continues to fuel that fire that Cody Rhodes has the ability to beat Roman Reigns, to end this streak and and fulfill his destiny of being a champion in WWE.
At the same time, because of his age, because of the position he's finding himself in, this loss does not hurt Solo Sikoa one bit. He's still
No.
the enforcer. He's going to have an impressive singles career down the road. He's going to be a title holder. So yes, hardly anyone goes in their career without a loss. He got his after an impressive string of victories. So this will do him just fine. I think this might even make him even angrier, and his involvement this weekend maybe even more so now because he's looking to get a measure of revenge. Some other things that happened. I'm gonna take a left turn here and start some conspiracy theories right out of the gate.
Okay.
Last night, Becky Lynch was out. Her and her tag team partner Lita, they're the tag team champions, and Trish, they're facing Damage Control this weekend. They were face to face in the ring. Becky cut a promo on Bayley that was a bit ruthless.
Did you like it? Did you like it?
I did like it. Gave me a few big time Bex feelings.
Mm-hmm.
She also threw a line to the Miz about his lack of his giant balls. Mm-hmm. They brought back a balls reference that they hadn't gone to that well in a little while. What we also saw yesterday were Dolph Ziggler and Mustafa Ali totally getting jobbed out. They're getting some.
Well, let's not go too fast. Are we off Becky already? I want to go back.
Yes, because I'm getting to a different point about that.
I'm sorry.
We'll talk about Becky because we're going to do the preview. We talk all you want. I'm putting some plot points here.
Okay.
Ziggler and Ali are jobbed out. Mm-hmm. Ali's been had this small storyline of positivity lately. That both those guys seem like they're incapable of winning matches and having runs again. Maximum Male Models is getting as much, if more, face time than they have recently. And they're teasing this new member, Otis, who had a crazy run a couple of years ago, even holding Money in the Bank. He's now kind of going off into even a goofy character. Chad Gable was referenced as being sort of a short guy. Johnny Gargano was called like a nerd in the last week. Do you see where I'm going with all this? Do you know where I'm going with all this?
I see where you may be going.
Okay.
But all right, but are you going to put a bow on it? Is Bray Wyatt going to come into this somehow?
No, I think quite the opposite. I think there's somebody's fingerprints more into the creative process than there used to be. I think now you see where I'm going. Now you see where I'm going.
Okay.
This is on top of Fightful, a great reporting agency. Our friend Will Washington works for them. Fightful has reported that Vincent Kennedy McMahon has an office now on the road because he's going to Raws. And the other report that they dropped today was, especially yesterday, there have been some last-minute rewrites more often than there were in the last several months when Hunter was sort of running the show solo. So what I'm saying is we're seeing a lot of old, familiar Vince things. WWE has been on a kick-ass roll for basically a year now. Vince hasn't been a part of that for a good bit of it. Now, with the examples I put out there, are we seeing someone's hands back into the pot who, for at least a couple of years, we had some very, very negative thoughts about everyone. And he's somebody who is very polarizing. I'm saying, are we seeing Vince's hands now deep in the pot more than ever before? And how is it going to work post WrestleMania?
Well, let's put it in perspective.
Okay.
One, it can't be more than ever before, ever. Like Vincent Kennedy McMahon was WWE until he wasn't. And then, obviously Triple H had how long? Let me ask this, and maybe we don't know the answer. How long was the Vince oust? How long was Vince out? Was it even a year?
No, he retired when Stephanie came out to start that Raw. It was like July.
So let's really put this in perspective.
Okay.
He has been WWE, the guy on the scale, for our entire lifetimes. And then he took a hiatus amidst scandal for less than a year. Now we hear he's back on the road. He's back in meetings. He's doing different things. The answer is probably he's probably back in many ways, and yet he probably will not. He's not back as he once was, where he was the sole dictator of all things. I don't know. The question is, does this affect the product in a way that we all like the year, less than a year that we felt like Triple H was running the helm. We all seem to enjoy that very much. But as TG has mentioned in the past as well, a lot of the bloodline buildup was under Vince's watch. A lot of the things that we really do enjoy was under Vince's watch. And we're very quick to forgive any transgressions, if you will, creatively, that Triple H may have had. Whether we're talking about Bray Wyatt or people that we bought back that wasn't used, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I say all this to say Vince is probably back in a capacity that neither one of us are fully comfortable with, per se. But it's Vince. Like, he's always going to be there somehow, some way.
That's an interesting point, because where I really want to focus this on is what really is going to happen in the next probably 3 months is that there's going to be a sale of the company.
Yeah.
So, one possibility is when something sells, Vince may have no role if WWE is being sold. Now, if you're Vince and it has been your life and you have created it, and when you did retire last July due to an investigation, as we found out a few months later, he still retained all voting control. Mm-hmm. And when he decided he wanted to come back, he forced 2 people off the board. Yep. He put 2 people he wanted on the board to be on the board. He basically retook control as if an investigation never really took place.
Absolutely.
And he's now, as we've seen, seemingly maybe kind of back in the fold. Is he going to want to sell the company to somebody who's not going to allow him to do this until he goes right into the grave? And if that's the case, there's maybe only one bidder who's coming out of that, and that's the Saudi investment group. And that could be fraught with issues. So what I'm saying is, as much as we've enjoyed, and I will say Hunter was at the helm for most of the Sammy stuff, which has been the best part of the storyline, of the Bloodline storyline the past year. Yes, Vince was there when the Bloodline began forming. That was just a dominant. I was putting Roman and the Usos together.
That's a good question. It's a different question, but that's a good question. Was the Sammy run the best part, or was it the most recent part?
It was the best part for me.
And the emergence, because I like Sammy as much as anyone. But the emergence of that, like, cool, calculated, dominant, really funny Roman was my guy, I want to say a year before Sammy even came in the picture.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, that tribal chief character, even before Sammy came in, that run he had was it was the best thing going in wrestling by far. I think Sammy does lift it up a level and makes it like, when it was possibly going stale, you bring in Solo, you bring in Sammy, you have that line. But if you look at the totality, this is a good question for just wrestling fans. If you look at the totality of it, to me, it starts and ends with Roman Reigns. It's not Sami Zayn, it's Roman Reigns.
What I'll also say was, once they had the culmination of Sammy hitting Roman in the back, once it began to turn, because again, as we talked about it alone, lots of weeks, they had this sort of 1A and B plan for WrestleMania. And when it became that, looks like Cody was going to be elevated, they weren't going to get The Rock going in. And as a lot of us thought, after Cody especially won the Royal Rumble, that Sami's going to turn, pair with Kevin, take on the Usos. That is what's going to happen. I think the entire sort of story lost a little bit when that changed, but that was inevitable because Sami was not going to be challenging Roman at WrestleMania. That at one time was argued may have been a lever they were going to pull, maybe without having that be the exact plan. You could have made that argument. Plenty of people would have been happy about it. I like how, looking now that we're 5 days away, I like that it worked out the way it did. Cody has proven to be a megastar right now. I think it's the right main event for WrestleMania. The Sammy angle would have been tremendous, but that had for me, a very satisfying conclusion with Roman for now. And I think ultimately, when people think about it, what we're going to see with the story with him and Kevin, they've done a very good job, good enough job in the last handful of weeks building that. But really, the story, I mean, you're right in the way that the bloodline story was they're definitely elevated by Sammy. But as I think we're even going to find out in this next year, it's about Roman, it's about Jay.
See, here's the thing. Yeah, because the Jay Roman stuff at the very beginning was awesome, right? Like it was so good. But and you may have a different perspective on this, but in my mind, as we lead into WrestleMania, I do think the story's good. I think they played the story out the best way they could play it out. Nothing would have been bigger than Roman versus The Rock. It would have been sloppy. It would have been pieced together because Rock probably wasn't going to do, 6 or 7 cities to really build up this hatred and family animosity that he would have needed to do to be great, to make it great, right? So I know you can't half-foot this. This is the biggest wrestling event of the year, right? So I'm okay with the way that they built this. I think what's interesting is, and you mentioned the line of demarcation, when Sammy left the bloodline, turned on Roman, and then everything else that happens after that, this all coincides with Roman honestly taking a step back from TV, taking a step, not showing up every week, not being the tribal chief that he worked his way to become.
Right.
And so you see way more of the Usos, way more of Paul, who we love. But to me, the story has lost a little bit going into WrestleMania simply because it's a Roman story that Roman isn't necessarily as present and dominant as he should be. And it does prove to me a little bit going into WrestleMania that maybe that Sammy, that Kevin, as hot as they are, it's all predicated on the North Star, and the North Star is Roman Reigns. And a main event of Sami Zayn versus, whoever, it isn't it. It's not. It's not where the Sami Zayn. Think about fictional world. They build up a Sami Zayn, Cody Rhodes. That's not the same.
Yeah. Well, with whatever got lost a little bit in the last few weeks, when KO's music hits, when Sammy's music hits, when there's 60,000 people there on Saturday or Sunday night, whenever they do it, it's going to be big. And we're gonna get into WrestleMania right before we do though. There's also, there's lots of pay-per-views this weekend. We're WWE sort of centric, but as a wrestling fan, this is the biggest week of the year.
Biggest week of the year.
Every promotion's having, Ring of Honor, AEW, they're all doing things. Wow, Women of Wrestling, shout out to our friends at Women of Wrestling. They're doing something big this weekend too.
Awesome.
Stand and Deliver, NXT, a product we don't talk as much as we should be on this show, and hopefully post WrestleMania we'll start getting into some more, because I think NXT and WWE are going to blend a little bit, because as always, stars get called up after WrestleMania usually. I don't want to go too deep into it, mostly because I don't know the roster all that well. Yeah. Axiom won tonight, so he's in the North American title picture match, the 4-way or 5-way they're going to have. That's exciting. But let's talk about just number one for our friend Victor. Are we going to get a new NXT champion this weekend? Is Carmelo Hayes going to take the title? And are we going to see Braun Breaker maybe hit the main roster as early as Monday?
I hope so. Melo deserves it. Melo has really done everything except hold that top title, and he's amazing. He can really, really go. If indeed, this comes back to your conspiracy theory. If your conspiracy theory is Vincent Kennedy McMahon is more involved than not, or more than ever, Braun Breaker is a Vincent Kennedy McMahon guy.
Yep.
So he will debut hell or high water after WrestleMania, because he's gonna be on the if Vince is in, Braun Breaker is like a prototypical Vince rocket ship, right?
Yeah.
But I also think that Hayes deserves it. Hayes should get a great run. He's a tremendous wrestler. He obviously could be on the main roster as well. I don't want him to get squeezed out on the main roster with guys like Montez, but yeah, I think we get a new champion, and I think we probably see Braun Breaker at the next level.
I would tend to agree with you. What else is going that weekend? There's a Hall of Fame ceremony again this weekend. They've announced 4 or 5 inductees. Gray Muda has been announced.
Love it.
Stacy Keibler, the most recent inductee. I kind of forgot about Stacy when I was thinking about, female talent from the past that I was partial to. I always talk about Lita, who I loved. Yep. Stacy was one of the more, if not most, attractive female talents they had. Beautiful. Not, she was more of a valet than she was a wrestler.
She was like a commentary ring announcer at first, right? And then
she was a Nitro girl. Originally.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing. Good for her. But that does not move me. I would not buy a ticket for Stacy Keibler's induction.
I would buy a ticket to see Stacy, sure. Let's see. Who else is going in? Help me out here.
Rey Mysterio.
Rey Mysterio is going in. He's still an active performer. Could be winding down this year. He's going to take his son on this weekend. We'll talk about that. Rey is going to go in, and there's been a fourth that's been announced, and it's slipping my mind. Mark's going to be looking it up. What they haven't announced yet is Andy Kaufman. That's a celebrity that was going in. Yeah, and that's well deserved. If anyone who's listening to us is old enough to remember the years that Kaufman and Jerry Lawler were in Memphis, some of our younger fans might even know who Andy Kaufman is. It's worth a look. They have not announced a Warrior Award. They may not. I wonder if they're going to do that this year. Sometimes that doesn't get announced till the night. I guess the Hall of Fame is going to be. I haven't seen. Is that going to be on Peacock or is it going to be on USA? Okay. They're going to show it. So they have done Warrior Awards in the past. There may be something awesome that happens that night. I'm slyly referencing a prediction I made 9 months ago, but we'll talk about that after this weekend.
Okay, you don't want to talk about it now.
I don't want to talk about it now. No.
Okay.
No, I most definitely want to talk about it. No.
Okay.
I said it on the show. I made a prediction 9 months ago, and we'll leave it at that.
Okay.
Maybe the Hall of Fame will reveal that. Maybe it won't, but fingers crossed. That's a small class if they're not announcing anybody else, but that's okay. I mean, Hall of Fame is, what it is. People usually aren't traveling from all over the world to go to that show, but it is a fun show. As long as no one is jumping in the ring and tackling talent like they did to Bret Hart a few years ago. Okay, well, we've talked about the Hall of Fame. Yep. We've talked about Stand and Deliver. WrestleMania, 2 nights. This is the, 3rd out of 4 years they've done a 2-night show. That sounds about right, I think, because they didn't do one for COVID, but they've done 3 nights or done 2 nights the last couple of years.
Okay, can I one quick question about before we go to the full card?
Yeah.
Stand and Deliver features a Johnny Gargano Grayson Waller match.
It does.
Would you, if you're Johnny Gargano, would you rather be a priority match on Stand and Deliver or a lower tier match in WrestleMania on the 2 nights?
Well, I guess Gargano does not have a match for WrestleMania, but he is competing in the Andre the Giant Challenge Friday, which he won't win. If I'm Johnny Gargano, I think I'd like a featured card on Stand and Deliver because that's sort of where I've been most popular the last dozen years. But as a professional, I think I'd want to achieve as high a mark as possible. So, and the payday is probably better for the WrestleMania ones, and maybe I want the WrestleMania payoff. What about you?
WrestleMania. I feel like Johnny Gargano is going backwards. I feel like you're going backwards.
Yeah,
because he was Mr. NXT, Johnny Wrestling, and he obviously went to the main roster. His storylines are what they are. But now, it's a great match, and him and Grayson Waller will put on a great show. And I think he will want to do that. He would want to put on a great show. But he's going backwards, and not like when I say Finn Balor went back to NXT and won the title, or even Apollo Crews comes back and challenges for the title. He's not necessarily back in NXT, but I do think he was just so recent. Him and Tommaso Ciampa, if they both went back to NXT, I feel like it's almost a failure.
My spirits were somewhat brightened. I don't read dirt sheets too much, nor do I put a lot of stock in them. But my spirits were a little bit lifted when I saw a report on Twitter that said Triple H is considering putting DIY back together when Ciampa comes back post WrestleMania. That'd be the best scenario for Gargano. I think Ciampa can do some things on his own if given the chance, but having Ciampa and Gargano together on the main roster as a tag team, if you're looking to get together another solid tag team that can do things, especially if you're going to maybe split some tag teams up, they'd be a great tag team to have on the main roster.
Yeah, I think so too.
No doubt about it. Only a couple of matches have been announced so far for their day slot. We got it on Monday, I think, or maybe last Monday, that John Cena is going to challenge Austin Theory to kick off night one. That's going to be the first match on the card. At WrestleMania Night 1 is John Cena challenging Austin Theory to the U.S. title match. For me, they're building Austin up pretty well. The character change has been terrific. He's obviously someone who appears right now could be a main eventer for a couple of years. He looks to be an established star. He has tweaked his character. He's got an edge to it. I can't see him right now ever becoming a face anytime soon, but he has, I think, the ability to become a face down the road. He sort of is. I think he's a little Seth Rollins-ish, that it can work well either way. But he's a heel right now. He's one of the top heels, really. And he's facing, an all-timer who hasn't wrestled much lately. John likes to pop up, entertain the crowd. He gets a huge buy. People, he love it. And you never can count out like a John Cena win, because that makes the most sense usually in John Cena matches. John's also great about putting over talent. I think Cena's going to win this match at WrestleMania. I think he may lose or turn over that title very quickly, maybe even as early as Monday. But John Cena opening WrestleMania and losing clean to Austin Theory doesn't seem like a good way to kick off WrestleMania. I could see shenanigans, like Cena's got him pinned and Austin does something to maybe cause the loss. But I'm going to just go on a limb here and say somehow Cena becomes champion, doesn't keep it long, but actually wins the title and puts the crowd in a good mood to start off WrestleMania. What about you?
As you can see on the screen already, EJ is. Are we keeping score here? EJ is calling Cena. I am going to call Austin Theory.
All right.
John Cena loves the business. He loves wrestling. He's back. He does all the things that you'd want a wrestler to do. And one of those things he's going to do at WrestleMania is put over Austin Theory, A-Town down. And I love it. I love what it means for wrestling. I love what it will mean. I think they'll put on a good show, not a great show, but I think they'll put on a good show in the ring. Austin is the guy that is so young. He has a rocket ship on him. I think a guy like John Cena recognizes that, probably sees a lot of himself in Austin Theory, and wants to make that moment for him. And I think he will. So I think Austin Theory wins the match, goes over, and John Cena again goes away.
I agree with just about all of that. Talking about Theory's potential, I totally agree. I also agree with Cena's mindset about that too. I can fully see that happening that way, but I think given the crowd something like a Cena holding a title, knowing that within a week or a day or 2 days you're going to be giving it back to Theory somehow, maybe, who knows. But I think that is the idea of Cena head down walking up the ramp to open the weekend. I don't think you put that show on first if you don't have that plan, but we'll see. All right. Also announced for night one, a match that we were surprised to see get put together, but the buildup has been okay. Brock Lesnar, Omos. They're getting it done early. Brock will be back on his ranch by Sunday morning, cooking breakfast for his kids and probably out hunting by 10 in the morning in Minnesota by WrestleMania Sunday morning. But Saturday, he'll take on Omos. They had the weigh-in this week that was a bit chaotic. It's impressive visually to see them two together. How are they going to match off in the ring? I'm going to let you make this prediction first. Brock Lesnar, Omos. You can make the argument the same thing could happen, that Brock's there to put over Omos, and Brock's going to go away for a little bit.
I could, but I will not.
No.
Brock still may go away for a little bit, but he goes over Omos. He is the dominant force. He becomes the dominant force. And they've been building this up like Omos has a shot. Oh, I can't believe Omos is doing things to Brock Lesnar that's never happened. Well, Brock Lesnar has had a little bit of a streak of not being as dominant in these big time matches in recent years. And so I feel like he comes back, shows his dominance, and he, in a very short, high action match, he takes care of business against Muscle Man Malcolm's favorite character, Omos.
Putting Brock Lesnar and Omos together is good for two visuals. Face to face, with Brock looking up at Omos and Omos looking down at Brock, and Brock putting Omos in the F5 and delivering an F5. Those are the two visuals that you need for them being together. And you've already had one. You've already had the face off a couple of times. You'll get another one in the middle of the circle at WrestleMania, but the real visual will be Brock giving Omos an F5, and Brock will be winning that and moving on. Whether he goes away or not, I don't know. Again, Omos will go back to being a bodyguard and look for other people to destroy. But yeah, Brock's going over in this one too. We're on the same page with that. Another match, maybe the one I'm looking forward to the most because I love this guy as a performer, and I'm getting totally bought into this guy as a performer. Seth freaking Rollins, Logan Paul. Logan can be a superstar if he wants to. If he had dedicated his life to it at age 18, he'd be where Austin Theory was. He's a tremendous athlete, and he's had a couple of matches. They've been great. Seth and Logan have told a pretty good story. There have been Seth's really taken the punishment in this buildup. Mm-hmm. Logan has knocked him out twice, out cold. Seth has said last night, if I can't, beat Logan, then what good am I, basically. Logan hasn't really won yet either, has he? He lost to Roman.
Yep.
Did he?
No, he's lost. He hasn't won.
Last year when the Miz hit him with the
he beat Miz won.
Miz won. Did Miz win?
No, I take it back. Logan and Miz won, and Miz turned on Logan.
That's what it was. Okay, so he's got a tag win. Yet to notch a real singles win. Logan's just sort of beginning this journey, and who knows even this point really how deep that journey is going to go. But this first 8 months has been fantastic. I guess Seth's going to win. That's sort of how these feuds sort of usually go through wrestling history. Doesn't mean that Logan's not going to come back, maybe take him on again at some point down the road, or by the time SummerSlam runs around, he could be in a program with somebody else if he's still available. But yeah, Seth's gonna go over. It's gonna be a fantastic match with some really hot spots.
I agree with you 100%. So we're both calling Seth to win.
Mm-hmm.
I do, and I think we're both calling possibly the match of the night.
It could be.
Because I think they're going to put on a heck of a show. I think it's going to be awesome. I think it's going to be high flying. I think both of them are going to do amazing, amazing spots. But you can't have Seth. Seth also needs to get a win. He also he's not a guy that needs to carry a title. They're going to be singing a song, but he can't lose in this capacity to Logan Paul. He just can't. It's kind of like at Crown Jewel. Roman Reigns couldn't lose to Logan Paul. Seth can't lose to Logan Paul. So therefore, I'm with you 100% on the outcome. I do think it's going to be a hell of a match.
Prop bet on this one. Will Seth curb stomp both Logan and Jake Paul that night?
Probably. I'll say yes.
Yeah. Okay. I think you're probably right. And the last match that's confirmed for night one is the aforementioned women's tag team champions, Lita and Big Time Bex, the man, along with Hall of Famer Trish, against Damage Control. You wanted to take a Damage Control take earlier in the show. Here's your chance. Tell us what you wanted to talk about earlier as far as Damage Control goes, and give your prediction.
No, I love them. I love Damage Control. I really do. EO has grown on me as a just like I hate to say it this way. I'm not a huge Dakota Kai person. I don't know really what she brings to the table, but I love Bailey. I love EO, and I think they get the titles back. That's where I am on it. So I'm with you.
Are the titles on the line in this 6-woman match?
No. I think they get the win.
They get the win. The Damage Control comes out on top. All right.
Okay, hold on. No, I'm going to stick with that, but I also, if my predictions go right, they haven't had the feel-good moment that you're looking for, right? So there's a good chance to give the old heads a feel-good moment. Because, again, I don't think John Cena wins, right? Like, Brock's going to win. I think Seth wins. This could be a feel-good moment if you have Lita and those guys at the end, doing the points all the way around.
But that's not your call, or is it?
Now that I'm thinking out loud, I'm going to stick with who I want to win.
Okay.
Who I want to win is Damage Control. But if we're going for the WrestleMania moment, it's Lita and Trish and those guys celebrating at the end.
Okay. Sort of prop bet. I think Lita and Trish are on a collision course towards each other for SummerSlam 2023.
Ooh.
So that would result in likely Trish turning heel. Does she turn on her teammates at WrestleMania?
No.
Or does it happen at the Raw after Mania? If it happens after.
It can't happen.
You don't think Trish would help? Okay, let's toss the same thing. At WrestleMania or within a week after WrestleMania, does Bailey get booted from Damage Control?
At WrestleMania.
That's going to happen at WrestleMania after their win.
Now I want to hedge the win.
Sure.
I want to hedge the win. All right, this is what I'll do. I'll hedge the win. Go with the old heads, but Bailey gets booted
because of the loss.
Yep.
Okay.
That makes more sense. That's not.
I disagree. I think what makes more sense is Damage Control wins, and either at WrestleMania or maybe more likely at the Raw for WrestleMania, Dakota and Nia saying, Bailey, you've been taking L's. We just, Bailey has nothing to do with the win on night one. And Bailey and Io and Dakota say, you know what? We need to take these titles back from Lita and Bex. That win wasn't satisfying enough, and you didn't do anything. We'll do this without you. And I think they throw Bailey out. I think that's, and who knows? I mean, it's going to happen. Maybe it'll happen simultaneously, but that's going to be. I think both of those 6 women teams are going to have a member turn on them at WrestleMania and maybe night after WrestleMania. And I think it puts Lita and Trish, as I said, on a collision course to SummerSlam. And who knows what happens with the titles, but you're right. I think Damage Control does get them back at some point, but that's gonna blow up in all 6 of their faces between the weekend and Monday. Last chance. Do you want to change your pick? Because you look indecisive.
No, my pick is the old heads win, but they turn on. Damage Control implodes during WrestleMania.
Damage Control. Okay, good. All right.
And that's already a change because that wasn't my original pick.
Yes, correct. All right. So the only thing we know about night 2 is Cody and Roman, and we'll do that at the very end. So let's just keep rolling with the matches that are happening. Actually, let's do this real quick. Do you have a prediction for the Andre the Giant Battle Royale on SmackDown this Friday? Lots of guys in there, some big names, some mediocre names. I think you could argue Bobby Lashley the biggest name in there.
Is Montez in it?
No.
All right. Yeah, no, I don't have a prediction. Lashley's the biggest name in it. But you know who they really like way more than I fully understand is Madcap Moss. So who knows? They
do. He won it last year, right? LA Knight's going to be in it.
They like Boogs. Boogs is going to be in it.
Boogs is going to be in it. LA Knight and Bobby Lashley appear to be the two big. I mean, Karrion Kross is going to be in it, but he's not. I wouldn't consider him an upper. I mean,
I wouldn't now. I wouldn't now.
Right. He's mid card, not even upper mid card. LA Knight probably still upper mid card, even though he loses, but just because he has such a good crowd reaction. LA Knight and Bobby Lashley are the two biggest names. Maybe something with a controversial ending Friday adds one more match to the card and puts, because Bobby doesn't have a dance partner right now for the weekend. It appears as though he's going to be competing and maybe winning on Friday, but winning an Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal on SmackDown before WrestleMania is not the same as being at WrestleMania. And I think you got to have Bobby Lashley at WrestleMania. So I think something's still going to happen this Friday that puts another match together. What do you think?
I'm actually looking at the list now, and it's Bronson Reed, Bobby Lashley, Elias, maybe Madcap. I'm just thinking of the people that could actually win, right? The people that could actually win this thing.
Why would you give it to Boogs when you've got someone like Bobby Lashley and LA Knight on the, unless there's someone
if you really wanted to push Mustafa Ali, he's in it.
No way. No way.
It's either, to me, Bronson Reed has a shot, Madcap Moss has a shot, Bobby Lashley has a shot. LA Knight would be a pleasant surprise, but I don't know if he has a realistic shot.
Yeah, I think we're on the same page with that. All right, so that's going to happen Friday. Free on TV. Doesn't have the same luster as it originally had, unfortunately, because Andre was certainly a legend, but he's still getting plenty of respect. The Women's Raw Championship being defended. Bianca Belair, the champion, has a very formidable opponent in Asuka, who has been tearing it up since she returned and won the battle. Rhea Ripley won, but Asuka made herself the number one contender and looks every bit of it. Is she going to end Bianca's title reign at WrestleMania on nights 1 or 2?
I mean, hey, look, if they're listening to the fans, she would. I love Bianca Belair, but it is getting a little redundant, if you will, with what she's bringing to the table right now. Asuka is fresh. Asuka is over. Asuka is what I think the people want. There is a part of this that has absolutely nothing to do with wrestling that if you're in the dirt sheets and all that stuff, you have to pay attention to, and that is they are going to start promoting pretty heavily Bianca Belair, Montez Ford's reality show that's coming. It does help that Bianca's the champion while they promote a reality show like a la the Miz and Mrs. But if you're listening to the people and you're listening to what WCWF wants, I think it's Asuka. Give the people Asuka. You're
picking Asuka. I'm picking Asuka as well. Yeah. Bianca still is a top face in that company. She's going to have a show. She's going to get even more exposure. She'll remain in a title hunt for as long as she wants to.
And it could go one of the other ways. We say that like it's great to have the belt while she's promoting that, but it also means she probably could do more promotional stuff if she doesn't have the belt.
Probably true. Keeping rolling with the title matches that are on. The Intercontinental title, they couldn't figure out who the champion Gunther would take one-on-one, so they're making it a triple threat.
I don't like it.
It's going to be Drew and Sheamus, who have been linked to each other for a long time now, both as teams and as opponents. They're both going to take on Gunther. Gunther has had a year unlike many have had. It's been a really amazing year. And I think, if the executives and the people who write creative remain high on him, he could be closer to a world title picture this time next year, perhaps, because I think he is so talented and does have a great presence in the ring. Drew and Sheamus, grizzled vets.
Yeah.
I'm going to make my prediction, even knowing I'm making this simply because of making legacies, cementing legacies, rewarding loyalty is important. The Intercontinental title is the only title that Sheamus has not held. He would become the Grand Slam champion. That comes with an extra entry in your Hall of Fame resume that you're a Grand Slam champion. Lots of people are Grand Slam champions who would be Sheamus's contemporaries. But my question is, does it happen at WrestleMania? Because Gunther's just been amazing and seems to be unstoppable. But, Yeah, he does have to take both of them on. I know it's not going to be Drew, even though the company's so high on him too. I'm going to give it to Sheamus just so we can have that moment where he becomes that Grand Slam champion. I don't know how long a reign it's going to be, but I say Sheamus will get his WrestleMania moment and sort of check off that Intercontinental title, making that the last title he needs. Cheats, how you looking at this? You said you're disappointed with it. Why?
Yeah, I don't need it. I really don't need it.
At all, or you want a different competitor for Gunther, or what?
I think they're fine competitors for Gunther. I think the story to me is one of those matches where I'm going to watch it and I know it's going to be brutal. But I don't know. I don't know if I like. It's like they had to figure out something to do with these guys, and let's just like put him in there. And this is coming from somebody that's extremely high on Gunther. I like Gunther a whole lot.
Mm-hmm.
There's a part of me still to this day that feels like Drew got a little bit screwed at the what was it?
Clash,
Where was
Clash the
Clash
Castle.
of the Castles?
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, man, how do you repay something like that? You know, but it's not the same. It's not the same.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna go with Gunther wins.
Okay.
Was it your prediction that was Gunther and Montez headlines WrestleMania in what 2 years or something like that?
Was it Gunther and Montez? I believe I said. I thought. Well, I said. Well, I know you could see Gunther and Brock facing each other some next year, or Gunther and Roman if they were keeping the title along. But I mean, I think Gunther is bound for a world title run.
Yeah, I mean, I think so too. I think Gunther keeps this one through this. Because again, I also don't know what a title reign, a Drew McIntyre or Sheamus title reign looks like. It
would look short with Gunther probably wearing that title again.
Yeah, I love Imperium. I love what they're doing. I love those guys. I don't know why. I don't have a really great reason, but I just don't think Gunther's time is up just yet.
Okay, we got that. Okay, we'll do the two showcase matches before we get into the final couple that really are gonna sort of main event and highlight the next two nights. Showcase matches for the women. Here are the teams: Raquel and Liv, Natty and Shotzi, Rhonda and Shayna, and the team that got their way in last night by way of being put together by Adam Pearce and winning, Sonya Deville and Chelsea Green.
I love them so much.
Chelsea Green, who is, is she going to change her character name to Karen, or should she just get called Karen? But right, she's doing a good job with that character.
I love them.
She's doing a better job with that character week to week. It's growing on me. I've always liked Sonya. So there's some names in that I've just mentioned who had pretty big 2022s, in 2023s.
Can I tell you, I hate this match.
You hate this match. Why do you hate this match?
I hate the showcase matches.
Oh, just because it doesn't do anything for anybody?
They just put people in a pot that they don't know what to do with.
Yeah.
They just put them in a pot and was like, hey, good. Congratulations. You get to wrestle WrestleMania.
Then let me make it a little bit easier for you. I don't think Natty and Shotzi are going to win.
No.
I definitely don't think Sonya and Chelsea are going to win. Rhonda and Shayna had been built recently to be a dominant tag team.
Yeah.
As a tag team that legitimately could and probably will compete for the tag titles after WrestleMania.
Yeah.
So you could definitely make an argument for them winning this tag team match. However, Raquel and Liv are
They're super over.
Super over.
More so Liv.
More so Liv is one of the more. I mean, she was a champion the last year.
She's over. Yeah.
There is a lot. I'd say there is a lot you have invested in getting Liv and Raquel into that top tier of women's singles wrestlers. So them having a somewhat unmemorable loss to Shayna and Rhonda, unless they're going to start feeding with each other, which could elevate them. But I think there's some risk in not having Liv and Raquel having their hands raised in that match. That said, I'm picking Rhonda and Shayna because I just think that's where they're going with it.
I mean, that's the question. Is Ronda Rousey a wrestler now, or is she a human being? Is she a wrestler? Because if she is, then she can take L's. If she's superhuman Ronda Rousey, baddest woman on the planet that came in from UFC and got all the, outside of wrestling headlines, and if she is still that level of celebrity to them, then she wins. Because you can't have, unless she's a regular wrestler, you can't have her taking L's in these types of matches. I am still of the belief that Ronda Rousey, in WWE's mind, is not a regular wrestler. She is a star attraction person. And that's why Ronda and Shayna definitely don't take the loss.
So Liv and Raquel just have to kind of pick up the pieces, and
they're wrestlers.
Yeah,
they're wrestlers. Wrestlers can take L's. Brock Lesnar is not a wrestler, right? In this sense, he's a different thing. Ronda Rousey's a different thing. And when they start taking L's, too many of them, then they become wrestlers.
Yeah.
With the exception of Logan Paul, because Logan Paul, I think, is a celebrity that cuts his chops on losing, right? Like great matches but losing.
I agree. I really want to see Liv and Raquel win because I want them both to have really successful 2023s. I want Liv to build off what she did last year, and I want Raquel to do more. But maybe
I am 100% on board. I'm 100% on Liv. My question is, has Liv, by carrying the gold, having the year that she has, is her time up in regards to the eyes of the creatives?
That'd be a shame, but yeah, very well.
I think so too, right? But she had the feel good story. She gets the belt. She's, you know what I mean. She's over. I don't know how much you can recreate that. Here's the thing about Raquel we ran into this problem in NXT, and I still don't know the answer to it. If you have Rhea Ripley, do you need Raquel Rodriguez? And that's what happened in NXT, and they solved that problem by bumping Ripley up and giving Raquel the belt. Right? That's what happened in NXT. I don't necessarily know you need both of them being dominant forces, and you don't plot a course for them to see each other. You know what I mean? I just don't know.
Yeah, agreed. Raquel looked to be the second coming of someone like Rhea Ripley when she was in NXT.
Yeah, and it was like they had to change her whole gear and then change her name and try to make her a whole completely different thing because she was too closely aligned with the look and the feel of Rhea Ripley.
Yeah, well, it would be an interesting matchup down the road, but they couldn't. It wouldn't be if a champion Rhea Ripley. There's lots of people in front of Raquel before that would happen, but it'd be intriguing. Let's go to the men's showcase match. Do you dislike the men's showcase as much as the women's showcase? You do. Okay. Street Profits, Alpha Academy, Viking Raiders, and this combination of Braun and Ricochet, which has been a more somewhat entertaining tag team.
I enjoy them. I really like them.
Yeah, I mean it's just one physical specimen and one acrobatic specimen. It's a good combination. To me, Alpha Academy is who they are, sturdy, but they're kind of like a Dolph Ziggler or a Mustafa Ali. Little expectation that tag team now is going to,
and they're going to break up, right?
And possibly Otis is going to join Maximum Male Models,
right?
So they're not going to win, obviously. Viking Raiders there for the same reason. Like that experiment just hasn't worked. And
why not? They should win. I'm so frustrated with this because what more can they do? They're awesome. They rebranded them, made them more menacing. Bot Van Helda, like, just come on, guys, figure it out with the Viking Raiders. They deserve better.
They do probably deserve better. Oh wow, this just occurred to me that there's no New Day at WrestleMania.
Xavier Woods is in the Andre the Giant Battle Royal.
That's not WrestleMania. That's SmackDown.
No.
Wow. You haven't seen a WrestleMania without the New Day in quite some time. This is the spot where you would probably see them. Street Profits, Alpha Academy, the New Day. Right? But Kofi's hurt and
Kofi's hurt. Yeah,
and Big E's out, so it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
So we're looking at Braun and Ricochet and Street Profits. Similar to like the Raquel, Liv, Ronda, Shayna. They've really been building up Braun and Ricochet because it's gotten over with the crowd. Street Profits are kind of like but maybe their time has passed as a tag team. So what? I'll let you get the first call, and we'll see if I mimic your pick. Who do you got winning this?
Viking Raiders.
Ooh, I like it.
Because they deserve it, and if you're gonna make them who I want them to be, they've got to win.
Yeah.
I don't think Braun and Ricochet, as popular as they are, for a long-term tag career.
Mm-hmm.
Give it to the Viking Raiders and let them go on let them challenge.
I like it. I like it. I think this match sort of could very well be the beginning of the Montez Ford experiment. So look to him to have some of the bigger spots of the night and maybe even get the win over. Maybe we'll get him. Let's get him a pinning. It'll probably be Chad Gable.
So you're going Street Profits?
I'm going Street Profits. We'll win this.
We're different. We gotta have that written down.
I got it circled right here. We are different. All right, we got 4 more matches. I know, right?
AEW pay-per-view. All right, let's go.
A long 2 days. Okay, let's go. The women's world title match. Charlotte, the champion. Rhea Ripley, the Royal Rumble winner. Both have cut really, very passionate, impressive promos. Charlotte was out there. She looks unstoppable, but we know what Rhea can do. Rhea looks destined for this to take her title back. She could have chose Bianca. She chose Charlotte and wants to go after her SmackDown Women's title. I think Rhea's gonna win, take down Charlotte, become champion. What do you got?
I agree. Give it to Rhea Ripley. And
where's that leave Charlotte after this?
That's a good question. It might leave her on another break. Honestly, I really don't know. It was a very weird. I'm back, and then it was like if she goes away again, I don't mind. I just don't know where she is right now. So
she's getting the A&E biography treatment. It seems like they're putting her sort of front and center again. But I believe Rhea is more front and center, and they have their sights. Yeah,
let's keep it as tangible as we can and as authentic as we can. If Charlotte Flair's there, she always gets front and center treatment. That's been part of the problem with her and her reception in WWE long term, is that she has to be at the forefront if she's there. Mm-hmm. It doesn't mean to me that she can't go away again. But yeah, if she's there, she's going to get all of the bells and whistles that Charlotte Flair gets. But I just think that Rhea, that Judgment Day story, they got more going on that they're going to grow off of.
Okay. We'll get to, let's do this right now. Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn versus the Usos, possibly one of the more easier matches to predict, just because of the way the story's been built. If you ask me,
yep.
There is no way Kevin and Sami are not walking out of there, dethroning the Usos after one probably the most impressive run. Usos have become one of the top 3 most important tag teams in history.
Yep.
If you're looking at this generation, they probably have bumped the New Day.
I think so.
Out.
I think so. They're the best.
Likely.
They're the best.
They really are the best. With no small help from their cousin Roman, but also just being
they're the best though. They've leapfrogged the New Day to me. They have.
Yeah, but their time is going to come to a screeching halt this weekend because the newly formed Best Friends 2.0, WWE's version of Best Friends, Kevin and Sami. They're reunited. They're both angry. They're pissed off. We need to see this is the culmination.
Yeah, this is the payoff. This is the payoff. And we always do this backwards because by the time we get to the main events, we're all tired and we're like, let's get out of here. but this has been an amazing storyline. The Bloodline's been the best thing in wrestling for a while. Jay should definitely win Emmys or Academy Awards or whatever for his performance. Jimmy's been great as well. Obviously, Sami has done what Sami does, and Kevin is a great piece of this. So it's really just 4 guys working at the top of their ability, doing great things. The in-ring work of the Usos for the last 2 years has been just phenomenal. They step up, they knock them down, and they did that promo when they were talking to Sami and Kevin a couple weeks back, where it was like they were just running off names of people they beat. Mm-hmm. And they were just like lockdown. It was great. And I was like, you just go through and you're like, oh crap, they really have beaten everyone. They really have. Through everyone.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's fitting that it comes to an end now. They're not the type that I think are going to take a break. They're not going to go away. They're going to be front and center the Monday after Mania as well.
Yeah.
But they won't have the belts. It'll be a new. It'll be a new.
Yeah, that bloodline storyline is far from over.
Yeah.
It's just not going to involve as many.
But
It's not going to involve as many people. It's going to be
Sammy and Kevin get the belts. That's going to be that'll be the big Saturday night over the top.
No doubt about it.
That's how you close the show.
I just saw on my list. You think that'll close night one? I think it should. Yeah, I don't see why it wouldn't.
It's well deserved.
All right, I just found another match we haven't done yet. So we have two more before the main event. We have Edge versus what appears to be the Demon Balor making his long-awaited return. It's a Hell of a Cell match. Big gimmick match. It's a Hell of a Cell. Sometimes used to be its own pay-per-view. Now it's going to be one of the it's going to be second or third on night 1 or 2 to the main event. I'm excited about seeing Demon Balor return. I think that entrance will be one of the better entrances of the night because we haven't seen it in so long, and that's just going to be a sick entrance. But this one's going to Edge just because of the way the story kind of goes. I have Edge winning this one. The Hell in a Cell is also going back to its original color. It's not going to be red anymore. It's gonna be whatever it is. Who you got?
That's fine. Let's give the Edge and let's put this to bed. Let's get over this.
Yeah,
I'm over this.
All right.
I love that Finn is getting a Hell in a Cell treatment. I really do. I love Finn Balor. I think he's great. I just got let's move past this Edge Judgment Day. And again, because my frustrating part about this, and I've said this on this show, Judgment Day should be a staple that is running roughshod. They should be. We talk about the other show and the other network. They should be where House of Black is, just running roughshod over gang beating up people. It's almost in many ways like outside of Dom, it's almost like a comedy act.
It's become more of a comedy act because it featured so much around Dom, but
it's so frustrating.
I'll say it has worked, but not the way I think they originally intended.
Great, it's great for Dom, but it should be like Balor leading this menacing group. That's awesome, and it's not. And let's just get back to that.
And maybe it will be after this weekend because Dom is taking on his dad Ray. This has been one of the more sort of hyped up matches because they both. It should because Dom, we were, everything we said about Dom this time last year, we take it all back.
We do.
We didn't think there was any way he could live up to the expectations that anyone set for him. And he wasn't setting the world on fire when he was coming out. Boy, has that changed. Yeah. He's been, he not the most entertaining thing in the last year because we've had Sammy, but he's right there behind it.
But he's over. He's so over. And I got to take it back too. I got to give him a lot of credit. He's not that bad in ring as well. I just like Dom. I like him. He's that irritant that you need in wrestling, and it's funny. He's really funny. TG and I have had a big kind of disagreement on how this works because it's Hall of Fame weekend. Rey Mysterio is going in the Hall. I'm thinking there's no way you don't pay him off. Like Hall of Fame induction, you don't give him the big WrestleMania crowd. It might be his last one. TG actually told me, no, this is the exact time where Ray puts over his son, moves it over to the next generation and moves forward. I'm going to stick with my guns, say Rey Mysterio goes over, Hall of Fame weekend, culminated with a Hall of Fame win, big pop from the crowd. Dom gets his comeuppance. But better writers than me could see it going the other way.
I was 1,000% on TG's side with that before they announced Ray for the Hall of Fame. He of course puts his son over. This is what Ray wants to do. Ray brought his lifelong dream. Ray brought his son to the business in order to put him over at WrestleMania. Yes, the Hall of Fame induction does make me rethink that a little bit. I still think Dom goes over though. I think Ray wants to put Dom over. The Hall of Fame is just sort of a cherry on top. But yeah, this has been a lifelong plan to do it. Now, the real question is, does Dom keep this heat when it's not directed 100% at his dad? We'll just have to see. The next person who steps to Ray, why do they step to Ray? Who does Ray step to next? And why does he do that? And does he get the same effect after that? We'll just have to see. We'll have to wait for after WrestleMania. We've reached the main event. We think this is this is what was. As soon as we saw Cody sign with WWE, we said, well, this is probably going to happen. Oh, wait a minute. Maybe it's going to be The Rock is going to come back. Holy cow. Sammy has earned his WrestleMania main event spot. They got to change it. They got to throw away whatever they're going to do and make this the main event. Well, Rock didn't happen. Sammy didn't happen. Cody has earned this since he's joined WWE. They're going to come head to head. Cody has promised the biggest pyro show in the history of WrestleMania for his entrance. It's going to be wild. This is really, many, many, many months in the making. It's going to be just short of 1,000 days that Roman has held this title. Cheats. Do we get our hearts ripped out and does Roman walk out champion, or does Cody finish the process?
No, the Roman wins.
Oh my God, it's amazing.
Yeah, Roman wins.
Roman wins. They're making complete the process, finish the process. They're making T-shirts for Cody. No, Cody has no chance of winning.
Not in my mind.
Not in my mind.
I think Cody's a great story. I think they've done a yeoman's like work of building him up. I think the fact that you believe Cody can win, you believe there are several ways that Cody can win, is exactly what they want. And then Roman wins. Roman dominates. They lose the tag titles the night before.
Okay.
Blood climbs on the ropes, but the tribal chief delivers, as he always has. Then he comes up big and he moves it along.
This is the first match in a trilogy for these two, or this is the one and done?
No, it'll continue.
It'll continue. Right. This
I don't
is
know
the
how.
start of this
I don't
feud.
know trilogy. I don't know all of that, but I do know it's not the end of Roman versus Cody. Cody ultimately probably gets the payoff. But not at WrestleMania, my friend. Not at WrestleMania.
Wow. He's headlining a WrestleMania and defending the title for a third consecutive WrestleMania under the same reign. Pretty amazing. Pretty amazing. I am really relieved that you and I have a lot of different predictions. That'll make watching this weekend more exciting. One more prop bet for the night. Over the course of WrestleMania weekend, who makes a surprise return, if anybody, not counting Raw after WrestleMania, where we're obviously going to see some returns and some debuts? Is there going to be, and outside of Jake Paul, who we mentioned, is there going to be any sort of special appearance return?
I think there's a special appearance. It's not a return, but I do think The Rock shows up.
Ooh, when do you think The Rock shows up?
Possibly the main event.
Like during Roman celebration?
Who knows?
At some point.
I can't imagine LA WrestleMania and not having The Rock be there. So
I like it.
I think I don't know if he impacts the match. I don't know what he does, but The Rock, I think, will be there.
Okay. I always like to say, I mean, one of the best things last year for me was seeing that Stone Cold went like 12 minutes with Kevin Owens and was great, and then stunned Pat McAfee, stunned Vince McMahon. So I think there's always a chance that someone like Austin comes out. It's not in Texas this year, so maybe not. But I'm actually going to go somebody who has been on the shelf for quite a while. I think Matt Riddle returns at the Raw after WrestleMania. But I think during WrestleMania we will see Randy Orton.
Okay.
Come out. Yep. He's been reported as being, on the cusp of returning, and it's said that he would prefer to come out at WrestleMania rather than the Raw WrestleMania, and I think they will grant him that request, and I'm not sure where or what match he'll get involved in, but I think we see Randy Orton come out and RKO someone out of nowhere. Who knows who it'll be, but I think that'd be awesome. Wow. It's going to be, man, imagine how long this was. WrestleMania will be even longer. It'll
be longer in 2 days. We did 2 days in one, though. You got to think about it.
We did. It'll be a good 4.5 hours each night for Saturday and Sunday. Have you cleared your schedule? Do you have any plans Saturday and Sunday, or is this what you're doing?
No, it's honestly, if we're just being completely transparent, it's like, this is full swing of kid activities. There's baseball going on.
Yep.
We live in Richmond, Virginia. For those, there's NASCAR this weekend.
Are you going?
I believe we're gonna go. Yeah, so
That's hot. That's awesome.
we're gonna go on a Sunday afternoon. That will not affect our WrestleMania time,
Right.
but we'll do Sunday morning probably. And to we don't watch the race weekend before that and do all the fun stuff, and then we'll watch a couple laps of the race probably.
Mm-hmm.
But there's just this time of year with an 8-year-old. I will be pleasantly happy to get the night to evening like watching in, but yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it'll be chaotic until then.
Are you going to the Bubba Wallace party on Friday with the food trucks? You
I
heard about
hope
that?
so. The challenge is that those types of things, and it's a great thing. Bubba Wallace does a block party in Richmond before the
Mm-hmm.
Richmond race. Is the second year in a row he's doing it. The challenge is that the crowds are massive,
Yeah.
and so it's a kind of like a first come first serve thing, whether you get in or not. I know Cameron is a Bubba Wallace fan, so we're going to try to see if he can get in, but I just don't know. There's another part of the elements of the season, we were just talking about it, where like the allergies are really crazy as well. What the one thing that does is it reminds you that COVID is still here. So
Mm-hmm.
like when you're not feeling great, obviously the first thing you do is take a COVID test, and if you're negative, you're happy about that. But then you realize like, oh crap, maybe I've been living a little too fast, too loose.
Yeah. Well, I wish we could have gotten TG's
Yeah, we
picks.
got to get his predictions and post them somewhere.
We'll get them and post them. And TG and I, hopefully, we can be at our regular time at 8 p.m. next Tuesday to talk about how WrestleMania went, how Raw after WrestleMania went, talk about the title changes, talk about the debuts, the returns. Tom and I will hopefully break it all down for you. And who knows, AEW Dynamite's tomorrow, and maybe Cheats and I'll be back here on Thursday to talk about AEW. Another important week for them as they have an ROH pay-per-view on Friday, and they're getting ready for their pay-per-view. So let's also give a shout out to our girl Megan, our favorite heel and heels, kicking ass at UNC, doing school. We miss her terribly. We'll get her on a Thursday show. Victor Taylor, Perry at Wallflower Perry. You and the kids have a great, safe, fun, awesome time. We'll be looking out for you guys. I hope everyone enjoys WrestleMania. I hope you enjoyed this show. Thanks for tuning in. Catch us on Facebook, on YouTube, on Twitter at WCWF Pod. Enjoy WrestleMania, and we'll be back Thursday and then next week. So we'll see you. Thanks so much.